I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is the Pinnacles overlook out there, Skyline Drive. Here's the overlook. There's the gray ghost. There isn't much to see right now because the fog is still up here on the mountain. It hadn't burned off yet today. But I'm going to be heading over that way. You might be able to see a teeny little bit of it. That's called Pinnacle Ridge over there. And the old maps show that there used to be a trail along the ridge line. So I'm going to go over that way and take a look and see if I can find it. The elevation here is 3320. Six-tenths of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 3450. I'm at a bend in the road. I'm on the outside of the bend. That's the way I came from. There's Skyline Drive. And it looks like back in the day, there must have been a road up here before Skyline Drive that just came straight down through here and headed down that way. Hopefully it makes a turn to the left because Pinnacle Ridge is right here. So I'm going to follow. This is the old this part looks like a road, but it could have been a trail also, an old trail. So I'm going to follow this down a ways and see how close it tracks to what's on the 1994 map. At the very beginning of it here though is this National Park Service benchmark. And it says USDI NPS, U.S. Department of the Interior, National Park Service. And then the numbers on there are 6721. Now what's interesting is there's two arrows on there. One of them, the one pointing to the left, is pointing up towards Skyline Drive. The one pointing to the right is this road heading down this way. So we'll follow this and see for a ways and see if we can, if it goes, if it follows Pinnacle Ridge. Okay, well, just a few hundred feet down the road, here's another National Park Service marker. I mean, the other one's just right up there, 100 feet or so. I'll get a still picture of this one too. I'm having a hard time reading this one. This one says the same thing though. It says USDI NPS, and then for the numbers, it looks like maybe 198-50. And there's two arrows again. There's one pointing up that way where I came from, and there's another one pointing down this way where I'm going. Okay, I'm still coming down this road right next to Skyline Drive, but right here, I think I'm going to just start bushwhacking to make sure I hit my trail points from the map. That's where I came from, and right here, there's the side of the hill's cut out here. It looks like the road came down here, made maybe a sweeping turn to the left, and then over here is another one of those benchmarks. I'll get a picture of that one. It's possible those benchmarks were used somehow when they put in this turn for Skyline Drive, which is right up there. I'm not sure. But anyway, according to my maps, I should be hiking off in this direction, which I don't see a road. So I'm going to start doing some pure bushwhacking. I got about let's see, I've got about 2/10 of a mile to get to my first waypoint, so we'll see what happens. This third benchmark looks like it says 199-00 on there. So they could be station numbers for surveying a road. Anyway, I'm going to head over in this direction on a bushwhack. Nine-tenths of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 3340. I'm starting to drop down on the ridge some. I'm at my waypoint PR number 1, Pinnacle Ridge number 1. And I don't think I'm going to go any further. So this is going to be a short video. That's the way I'm headed. I'll do a 360. That's the way I'm headed. I have not seen, since I left Skyline Drive, I really haven't seen anything that looked like a road or a trail. That's the way I came from. And oh, and also up that way I came from, you'll probably see on my GPS track that I went wide away from where I was supposed to be going because there's just intensely thick mountain laurel up there. I'll have to go around that on the way back. But, okay, now I'm back to where I started. That's the way I'm headed. This is point PR1. I don't think I'm going to bother going any further because, I mean, I'm looking around and I don't, if it was a road, I'd see some evidence of it, but I don't see anything looking around here. So it could have been a trail that was shown as a dotted line. Sometimes they, on those old maps, sometimes they'll show, if it's a heavy road, they'll show it with a double dot, but this was a single dot. Sometimes those are just trails. So after 100 years of not being used, the trail is gonna be gone. So I'll mark this and I'll post a short video on it. I mean, if somebody wants to come through here and bushwhack all the way down Pinnacle Ridge, be my guest. But I mean, I'm not seeing anything. The old maps did not show any homesteads down here or anything. I couldn't see anything from Google Earth. But I wanted to come satisfy my curiosity. So I'm going to head back up this way now, back towards Skyline Drive. .3 miles into my hike, I'm back up on Skyline Drive. The elevation here is 3460. My bushwhack part of the hike was up there at that bend, and this is the way back to Pinnacle Overlook. So that's the way I'm headed back. But I noticed this old service road. I'm not sure where this goes, but I'm suspecting it makes a turn to the right and goes up on Pinnacle, up near the Pinnacle where the summit is. There's no sign here or anything, but it is chained off. So I'm going to walk up this just a short distance just to establish a GPS track, and I'll point it out on my map talk. Okay, well, I followed this service road up for a short distance, and I'm not sure if it goes anywhere. That's where I came from. Skyline Drive's down there, and I'll do a 360. You follow it up to here, and this area looks like it was cleared out pretty good once upon a time. And I went up that way a little further up, but didn't see anything definitive. So I don't know. It's possible that they put this in and just came up a short distance and cleared this all out for maybe a staging area when they built the Skyline Drive. Well, I'm back to the overlook, and there's still a little bit of fog up here, but a lot of it's burned off. So you can see, I'll show you where I went. That is Pinnacle Ridge, and that's where that trail was. Okay, and right up there at that high point, that is, well, a little below that is where Skyline Drive is over there. It starts, Skyline Drive is there, and it wraps around the mountain over there. But right about where that high point is, somewhere along in there, up there, is where I started bushwhacking. And I bushwhacked down the ridge until just before that low point. So right up in here somewhere is where my waypoint 1 was. And I decided not to go any further. If I'd continued, I would have gone down to the low point and then started climbing again. And my plan was to go to that peak right there. That's the waypoint I called the summit. It's actually higher over here to the right, but that's the local summit right there. And then after that, it starts dropping down pretty sharply down towards the valley. But I was going to go to the summit, but instead I stopped just short of that little valley there, the low point. And my starting point was over here. This is a map of today's hike. This is 2 quadrangle maps pasted together. The top part is Thornton Gap, 1994, and the bottom part is Old Rag Mountain, 1994. And the purpose of the hike was to hike along Pinnacle Ridge looking for an old trail that showed up on these 1994 maps. This is the trail I was looking for right here along Pinnacle Ridge. Like that. That was drawn in. I darkened it, but it was drawn in as a dotted line on this map. I parked here at the Pinnacle Overlook, and then I hiked along Skyline Drive to right here, and then on the outside of this turn I found 3 different National Park Service survey benchmarks, which I got pictures of those. Once I got past those 3 benchmarks, I didn't see any road or trail So I started bushwhacking towards this point right here, PR1, which is Pinnacle Ridge, waypoint 1. I wasn't able to hike perfectly along this because right in through here, there's a tremendous amount of mountain laurel. And it's almost impossible to push through a lot of that stuff. So I hiked a little bit this side east down to here. Looked around, once I got down to here, there wasn't any more mountain laurel. Looked around, didn't see any evidence of a trail at all. So I basically turned around and hiked back. On the way back, I noticed right here that there was a chained off, abandoned service road here. Now I thought that this road maybe would have gone up like this, up here to the summits. But it didn't. It went down to about there. I drew in where I stopped hiking. And there's like a turnaround area there that's all overgrown, and that was it. So I'm not sure why that's there, unless maybe it was a staging area during the construction of, Skyline Drive. Hiked back to my car. So it ended up being a pretty short hike. This was 1.9 miles and a total ascent of 164 feet. And that was the hike for today.